Hello, I'm Sally Pointer. My little bit of the world is having quite an unseasonable cold snap at the moment. It's much colder than it normally is at this time of year. And that means there's a limit to what I can do outside when I'm out hedge bothering. Does mean it's a perfect time to stay in the warm and practice techniques that you can use all year round. And today I'm going to have a look at 3-ply cord making. Many of you have used my videos on making 2-ply cordage. It's a very straightforward technique to do. I'm working right-handed at the moment. I'll show you left-handed in a second as well. So for a 2-ply cord, just as a quick refresher, the trick is you twist away, grab the bottom strand, cross towards you, twist away, cross down, twist away, cross down. That's very straightforward. 3-ply cordage is something that a lot of people seem to get quite confused by. They think there's something quite miraculous about how it goes together, or very fiddly. It actually isn't. This is line bast. At the other end of this, I've got some more strands in progress, and this is working up as a 3-ply. And the principle is exactly the same. I have 3 strands. Top strand twists away, and it comes all the way down to the bottom. Now this is the top strand twists away, comes all the way down to the bottom. Top strand twists away, comes all the way down to the bottom. Top strand twists away, comes all the way down to the bottom. See how easy that is? You need a tiny bit of concentration just to make sure you don't confuse the bits you're working with. But if you can just keep them in order, twist away, cross all the way down to the bottom, twist away, cross all the way down to the bottom, you're going to get this lovely, strong, smooth, round cord in no time at all. I'm going to break it down using some coloured threads so you can see exactly what's going on. I'm going to make a little bit of this cordage just in ordinary wool knitting yarn, just to show you with 3 colours what exactly is going on here. Now, I always say in my cordage videos that there's no right or wrong way to hold your hands. Everybody does things differently. I personally like to pinch pretty much just where the join is happening, where the cordage is coming together, and that stops things just escaping from me, but it really doesn't matter if you use a different grip. So it's just a case of top strand twists away, comes down to the bottom. Top strand twists away, comes down to the bottom. Top strand twists away, comes down to the bottom. Watch out. See, we've got white, red, grey. Watch out for when you twist away that you don't reverse the order of the ones that are coming up below it. So top one twists away, comes down to the bottom. Now the grey's on top, twist away, comes down to the bottom. Now the grey's on top, the white's on top, twist away, comes down to the bottom. Now the red's on top. Now, if that's fiddly on the fingers, what you could try is using a couple of fingers as separators. Stabilise the camera. So if you use a couple of fingers as separators, twist away, grab the bottom, move those up, bring that down. Twist away, grab the bottom, move those up, bring that down. I think that's a little bit slower, but you know, it doesn't matter. If it helps you keep track of what's going on, everything is fine. Now, if we have a look at that cord, you can see the pattern very clearly of what's going on. And it gives you a really round cord. And that's the great benefit of this particular method. This very round cord means that any one strand is being somewhat protected by abrasion. If one strand fails, the other ones hold up very well. And that is particularly useful if you want really strong lines, maybe something like a bowstring, where it's got to be strong, it's got to be smooth, it's got to be even, and all the forces need to be well distributed amongst it. So other places to use this tangled mess is a 13-strand braid that I'm making at the moment. It's going to be a belt. It's a very simple technique. It's the same method as the 12-strand braid in one of my other videos, just with an extra strand. And I've done a 3-ply cord at the top, basically worked in the absolute middle of the strands before I set it up to make an integral belt loop. And nice and round, nice and smooth, very, very easy to set up. Means that you don't need something like an antler loop or a wooden ring or whatever you're going to use as your buckle to set up a belt. Tempting to show you how that works, but we'll come back to that another time. That's one of my pocket projects at the moment, goes around with me in a bag for odd moments. So let's make some cordage in more natural materials. I'm going to finish up with a couple of examples in raw fibre. This is flax, so linen, and it's the stuff that I provide in my cordage kits. Let's start a bit from scratch. So I'm going to take just a convenient amount. Now you can always tie knots in the top, but I often think it's easier just to put a little twist in to stabilise things and then divide everything up into 3 strands. This is just like you would do if you were plaiting hair. Just take a few seconds, get things as pretty even as you can. There we are. So I've got 3 strands there. So lots and lots of individual fibres. This is dry. I'm not actually working this damp. It may be better for quite a lot of fibres to work them fractionally damp. But remember, they don't ever need to be really soggy. You don't want shrinkage to happen later. So this is right at the start, so there's nothing holding this together. That could be a knot, as I say. Otherwise, I'm just going to pinch, twist away, cross down to the bottom, twist away, cross down to the bottom, twist away. That gives you an S twist. That'd be like an S shape if you imaginarily drew a line through it. Cross to the bottom, twist away, cross down to the bottom. So just as you get with a 2-ply, if you start with an S twist and cross down, your finished cord will have a Z twist to it. So let's just have a little look at that. So if you imagine you were drawing a letter of the alphabet through, that's the line of the Z. So when we describe cordage, we talk about things like S twisted and Z plied. You'll often find with fibres as well, you just need to run your fingers down the length every now and then so that they don't tangle further down. An awful lot of discovered cordage uses this pattern, an S twist and a Z ply, including what is currently the oldest piece of string in existence. Now that was found at a Neanderthal site in France. It's been dated to 50,000 years old. I'm just going to say that again, 50,000. Such a long time ago. And it's not only the oldest piece of string in existence, it's also 3-ply. So 3-ply string. In that case, I think they decided it was made out of some sort of coniferous bark. So really quite an advanced processing technique. And absolutely no doubt that our Neanderthal cousins were capable of working with multiple sets of cordage. So there is a little bit of maths involved in this. Even if you're doing it entirely subconsciously, you're keeping track of 3 strands in the right order. And it just goes to show that advanced cordage techniques go back a long way. I have no doubt that there's older string out there. We just haven't found it yet. And just like all cordage, once you get the hang of this, you can keep going more or less forever. Now, I said I'd show you left-handed as well. Now, I am mostly right-handed, so I'm not quite as fluent in that, but we'll just turn it round. And assuming that you want to maintain the same S twist as Z ply, in this case, work from the bottom strand. So if you're left-handed, bottom strand is twisting towards you, take it up to the top. Bottom strand's twisting towards you, go up to the top. Bottom strand's twisting towards you, go up to the top. So I'm a little bit clumsier working this left-handed, but see, it works just as well. Twist towards you, take that up to the top. I'm going to use my fingers as spacers just to make sure I don't get in a tangle. Twist towards, take that up to the top. There's nothing to stop you doing exactly what I had been on the right-handed, where you twist the top and bring towards you, but it's going to reverse the direction of twist, and you'll end up with a Z twist S ply. Make sense? Clear as mud? Excellent. So whatever material you work in, whether you're working in the wool yarn that I used earlier just as a demonstration, whether you're working in the lime bast that I did the first bit in, this is flax. Nettle fibre would work exactly the same way. You could try strips of newspaper, that would work. The principle is exactly the same, but you're going to end up with this lovely, round, firm, very, very stable cordage at the end. And there's just one more thing that I want to show you. If you've watched my other cordage videos, you know that when I lay in new material, I always recommend trying to overlap it into another strand. Now that can work exactly the same way with a 3-ply cordage. So some, particularly bushcraft instructors, will recommend that you lay right along the side and then twist in, but that leaves you sticky out bits. I like, let me just get that one out of the way because that one's still quite thick. Right, that's my one that's coming up a little bit thin. I like to lay in so that surplus material is absorbed into the other strands. For a 2-ply, I would normally lay in right along the middle so that it's equalised, but for a 3-ply, I tend to leave one short end and one long end, and I will lay that into my 2 outer strands. So a little bit's going on one side, most of it's going into the one that I need to fatten up. Twist, cross, twist, cross, twist, cross. There we are. That's absorbed really nicely. It's nice and stable. It means it can't slip. If I pull on those strands, there's no loose bits to come out, and it does minimise those sticky out bits that can be slightly annoying when you've made an otherwise really beautiful piece of cordage. Well, I think that is my last video for 2022. We've done quite a lot this year. I've got so many more planned for next year, but hopefully there are plenty of ideas on my channel to keep you going over the winter season until we can get out hedge bothering, crafting, working on archaeological ideas, heritage crafts, traditional skills. There are so many things to draw inspiration from. But for now, have a really lovely midwinter, whatever you personally do with it. And I will see you back in the new year. Bye for now.